Not who you once were, but not quite who you're becoming? Welcome. You are on the guest list.
I'm Cameron Sepulveda.
And I'm Kelsey Young.
We're two 30-somethings navigating the messy middle with real talk, self-discovery, and intentional living.
We're here to make you feel seen, not fixed.
And we're not here to teach. We're here to talk it out together.
This is DM for Guest List. Slide the fuck in. Are we live?
We're live.
Yay!
Woo! Yay!
Erin Spangler, welcome to DM for Guest List.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here.
Erin Spangler is one of my best friends ever.
How did y'all meet?
Huh?
How did y'all meet?
Oh, great question.
For the first time.
You know the story.
Yeah, I think it was High-Low Mount Pleasant when I was a member there and you were working front desk.
Yes.
So High-Low Mount P.
No, but it was like the beach workout, I thought.
Oh my gosh, the very first time we hung out. Yeah, it was a summer beach workout. I think Atlas was doing it out on Sullivan's. And we had just laid out and worked out. And then we all went to home team. And then we went out after.
Sounds
What
on brand.
drew y'all to each other? Like, what qualities did you like in one another?
We were like very social, outgoing, little like, oh, where are we going to go? What are we going to get into? Like we were like social butterflies.
Yeah, I think we both just wanted to do the same things. Like we just clicked and it was like, what are we doing next? Where do we go? Let's work out. Let's eat. Let's go on the boat. And I think Kelsey liked that I was always on the water. And so that kind of was like another girlfriend to bring with me on the boat.
So I'm a water baby. And I was like, yeah, I'll come wherever. And she's very type A too. So I don't want to have to like make the plans. Mm-hmm. She would be like, oh, this is what's going on. So like, do you want to come? And I like saying yes or no. And it was always a yes at that time because I was a
yes.
A little butterfly, social butterfly. But she has all the plans made. And so I was nice. Like, yes. And she would just tell me where to be and I would show up. And when she was living at Elon at the time, it would literally be like, we just show up at our house. She's like very mom era and like fun mom though.
Fun
like
mom.
where we show up and she's like, okay, everyone, we're taking tequila shots. And she'd like have the tequila frozen already and everyone would get a shot when we arrive. Like it was so cute. Aww. So we just had to show up and be there. But anyway, that's how we met.
Yeah.
So fitness and like fun.
Okay. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you do, Erin? Give us a little like just backstory on you.
Oh, wow. Okay. So my name is Erin. I think most people might know me as Spang, but I've lived in Charleston on and off for about 14 years. As a nurse practitioner, I work part-time in a clinic. And in my free time, I guess I do a couple other part-time things. I have a dog named Groot. I do a lot of things with Groot.
What are your other part-time things?
Oh, okay. Well, other part-time things.
Yoga?
Yes, I just started teaching yoga downtown Charleston. I'm super excited about that.
Oh, nice.
I just got a job teaching at Charleston Southern for some of the bachelor's nursing students. And I have a rental property downtown.
Mm-hmm.
And
you're so adulty.
She's
so
very
adulty.
adulty.
I've been told that I look good on paper. So I'm just going to keep writing that one out.
Mm-hmm.
I could see it. You have a lot of streams of income, so I approve.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Well, that's great. Well, thank you for being here with us today. Kind of the reason why we brought Erin on is we want the topic of this episode to be about friendships, because I just went through a very, I wouldn't say it's traumatic, but a little traumatic, like breakup with a long-time friend. And I feel like y'all, from what I know, we'll dive into this more, have like ebbed and flowed over the years. And I think it's just a good conversation to either discuss, like, when do you just cut off a friendship and just end it? And when do you, work through it? When do you renegotiate the relationship without, losing yourself, and keeping in mind that as we grow, we evolve into different people. We have different things that are important to us, and how do you evolve with each other, or do you break off the friendship? So I think discussing sort of our two different views, because for me, I'm sometimes like, when we're done, I will delete you from my mind forever. But I feel like y'all are a great example of just working through it and talking through it. So
yeah.
Thank you.
I can't wait to get into it. Yeah, Erin and I's friendship has definitely ebbed and flowed, like you said. And we have been so we met in 2019.
Was it 2019?
2019.
It was definitely before COVID. So a long time ago.
Either 2018 or 2019. Maybe in 2018. Anyway, since then, obviously, it's 2025. We have been very many different versions. And then even within those little versions, we haven't been aligned in some seasons. So we have lots of juicy things to talk about.
Ooh, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think also just before we kick it off with y'all is just acknowledging that you're kind of allowed to change the rules in relationships, especially as you grow. And I think more people need to have these conversations, that it doesn't have to be emotional and dramatic and harsh. It can be, but it doesn't have to be. And you're allowed to just, again, renegotiate what you want, what you need. And maybe that changes season to season. So,
and relationships are work. All relationships that are worth keeping are hard work. So think of like, you know, I said jokingly earlier to you off camera, like I am essentially in like a friendship relationship with you where it's like, it's not going to be roses and butterflies all the time. Like we're going to have really hard conversations, and we either make it through those hard conversations or we take space, or that's when you cut ties. And so yeah, it's just, they're not going to be rainbows and butterflies all the time.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that people think because it's a friendship, it should be easier. But it's like, actually, if you have a really good friendship with somebody, it's actually going to be
work. I mean, all relationships are work. And I think just this period of time in 2025, like I think a lot of people talk about how dating is really hard and how people ghost you and don't want to have the hard conversations. I think a lot of those same sort of icks and cons can be applied to friendships nowadays, where people are just quick to like cut you off, or the first sign of like an issue or a negative topic or like just negative feelings, they don't want to deal with it. And so they'd rather ghost you than work through it.
Wait, I have a question for Erin. Ooh. So before we because we have some things we want to like ask, but how would you describe our friendship?
I think in this today, right now, I would just say it's easy right now because we both know what to expect from each other. It's not like a surprise. Like I'm not guessing what type of version I'm going to get with Kelsey, or I'm not guessing, are we going to go out tonight or are we going to go to a coffee shop? Like we already know where each other is at. So it's easy to meet Kelsey where she's at.
But has it always been this way?
No, but just like when we met in 2018, it was easy at that time because we both wanted to party and go out and go on the boat. So there was no guessing what we were going to do. It was just whose boat are we going on or what bar are we going to? Yeah. Whereas right now it's like, are we going to Hurriali or are we going to Island Provisions? So the game has changed, but what we're meeting each other where we're at.
Yeah, I love that.
But as far as like our friendship goes, is it...
Oh, okay. Back to friendship. Yeah. I mean, I think our friendship is something that is a strong friendship. I mean, I think we've built it up over the course of time. I think in the beginning, it was a superficial friendship with maybe drinking and partying and those commonalities. But over the course of time, I think we both have come to be each other's confidants. And so whatever I bring to the table with you that I'm struggling, I know that that's going to be an opinion that I respect, and that I will, I ask you these questions because I respect where you're coming from, and some of these perspectives I can't think of myself. So yeah, it's a strong rooted friendship that's based on a lot of other things besides how it started.
Yeah, because I was going to describe it as like foundational. Like it's very supportive, and like it's like a rooted relationship and friendship where, I said to her, she came over last week and we were like outside in my backyard, and I said like, it's not even a friendship where we're like doing a lot of stuff together, but we are so foundational that like I look at her like a Chris and like a you, where you're just like such monumental pieces in my life. It's not even like we're trying to make plans to like do stuff per se. It's just like, when can we catch up, touch base in person, give each other a squeeze, and like go about on our way. Yeah. And then throughout in the between, when we see each other, it's like more of the supportive, like perspective shifts. Like, I'm going through this, which is hard. Like, talk me through this scenario, like calm me down from this. And so, yeah, it's really foundational for me.
Yeah, I mean, do you feel like that differs from, because I appreciate that aspect too. Like, I'm that friend where it's like, we can not talk for like 2 months and then pick back up, like everything's fine. Whereas like the friend that I just had to cut off, I feel like was very much still in that younger mindset of friendship equates to being together all the time. Because I think that is like one hurdle you have to kind of go over as you're just becoming more of an adult, but also you just have more shit on your plate, like work and relationships and whatnot. And so friendship can't be like being together all the time every day. So do you feel like that transition in your mind was hard to do, or?
No, because something we've worked through is, she's a nurse practitioner. And so she goes into work and she knows the days that she's working and she knows her off days and she knows her schedule's 3 months in advance?
Yeah, right now I'm planning out through August.
Oh my
so
gosh.
you could tell me, we can plan some things.
She's like, okay, so what do I need to take off anything in August? I'm like, bitch, we're in May. That's how type A she is, but she has to be. So all of that to say, she has a really not a regimented schedule, but a clock in, clock out job per se, where I work all the time around the clock. And so even that dynamic we've had to work through. And now we're at a really good place where she just knows if I, in any of my free time, I'm going to be working or sleeping. And so there's less pressure to try to coordinate stuff now.
Right. I feel like I don't some of my friends will at the beginning of the week, hey, when can I see you? I feel like when it works out, it works out. Whereas I don't stress out if I don't see you this week, because sometimes it can be weeks, but I feel like it's changed to where voice memos, I really feel like I've changed the game. For our friendship, because I used to just listen to him yeah. But now I'm I'm hanging out with you on the voice memo thing.
That is Kelsey's love language.
Yeah,
damn audio messages.
So yeah, if we can't have quality time, I still feel like I am figuring out what she's going through. And I don't know why you just don't pick up the phone and call me, but the voice memo, yeah.
It's so nice because you can reply when you're ready and when you have a second.
Yeah.
I feel it's more millennial, Gen Z, who calls people anymore?
For real. But anyway, now where do we go? Now what's next?
Okay, well, I guess, so we'll start getting into some of the questions. So I'll set the stage with it. Some of these questions are really before y'all had these difficult conversations. And it's more about doing some self-reflection first before you come to the table with saying what you actually need. And I think this is one place where people go wrong in all relationships, is that they're not clear on what they need. So it's how can somebody else be able to give you that or be clear on it if you're not clear? So a few of these questions, I just want to know, did you, and maybe you didn't think about it in the exact way I'm going to ask, but did any of these thoughts go through your mind ahead of having these hard conversations? So
I'm going to have you answer first, Erin.
Oh, okay.
Am I asking her question then first?
Yeah.
Okay. So your question, again, just did this go through your mind before these hard conversations were had?
In regards to our friendship.
In regards to y'all's friendship, yeah. Am I being honest about what I need or watering it down to keep the peace?
I feel with our friendship, I think the issue is I was telling Kelsey what I needed. And for me, I needed Kelsey to help me with Groot, or I needed more quality time. I wanted Kelsey to come over to my house and sit on the couch. So I was vocalizing all these things that I needed. And Kelsey was like, I'm not in the capacity to give you those things. I can't be that for you right now. So I feel I never really watered it down because I wasn't scared about the peace.
Yeah. Did you ever feel some of those small asks and her not being able to meet them led to a bigger resentment? Feels harsh, but resentment almost, or just growing animosity towards the situation?
I think it was just frustration because for me, it's always hard to ask for help. And I think when I came back to Charleston my second time, I know I needed help with my dog or mental health or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was realizing my friends just weren't being able to show up for me how they did 3 years ago, and things had changed in their lives. So until I was able to understand where Kelsey was and what she could offer me, I think there was frustration I sat in for a while.
Yeah. And how did y'all then approach this subject?
Well, I was going to say, because when she first moved back, she was going through a really traumatic experience, heartbreak, big transitions, just really trying to find a place where she could be grounded. And so I did show up strong for her in those big moments where me and Chris set up her apartment before she got there, with setting up her bed, and just made some things really easy for her. And I was there because I knew she needed me. But as she started to get her footing, and she was getting more established and feeling more at peace and going in the right direction, I slowly started to back away, because I was okay, we made it through the really hard stuff, but now I have to get back to my everyday life, and I can't show up. I'm going to show up when you really need me, but as I see you doing the normal day-to-day, like I can't show up as strongly as I did in those harder moments.
Yeah.
And I think for her, she wanted me to.
Yeah. I know off camera we kind of talked about love languages. At that point, did you know Erin's love language as far as how she receives love and gives love?
I know that she gives gifts. She loves giving gifts.
But I don't think that means I want gifts. Let's just go.
No, that's your giving.
But I love to give gifts. Like I swear every time, even today before I left the house, I just did a quick scan. Like, is there anything here I should bring Kelsey real quick? Like, one, am I forgetting something I have of hers? But would she want that banana? Does she want that? It's like, what could I maybe like bring?
She gives everyone cards. Like every time she goes on a trip, she'll bring me back like a sticker, a skull. I have skull stickers and shit on my fridge.
Because I'm the same way. Like I don't gifts. I could take her or leave. So it's so interesting hearing somebody who just is actively thinking about people in that way.
And then she thought she was being like a really good friend by like giving me these gifts. And I'm like, those mean nothing to me. I know that's harsh and I hate to break it to you, but like if you didn't write me another card for the rest of your life, I would be okay. Like that's not how I but I'm not saying don't
and I still do it. I sent her one like a month ago. I'm looking at it.
But I also think that's where you can meet in the middle. It's like, sure, maybe Kelsey, that's not how you receive love. But if you know that's how Erin gives love, it's like the thought that counts a little bit.
No. And I'm not telling her to just not do it. But for her, she was like, wait, I've been doing all of these things though. Like, how are you not thinking that? Because I was like, I feel like you're not like, I don't even know what the conversations were, but I'm like, but I need you to like, you know, be really present and like quality time. And what's the other? There's one.
Words of affirmation.
Words of affirmation.
And physical touch.
That's my love. That's receiving.
Okay, so let's define that. So what is your, Erin, how do you give love? Gifts?
I feel like I give them in gifts and
then how do you receive?
I want quality time, but for me, quality time is like the physical quality time where I feel like Kelsey could be just as happy if she just did a little phone date. Just that's enough.
Maybe the meet in the middle is like a Zoom.
Yeah. Right? We add in the FaceTime. No, it's the voice memo. But in order for me to get the one-on-one like this, it does require me to just drive to James Island. So...
Or I'll come to her house if it's like on my way.
And then what is your, Kelsey, how do you give love?
I give love by, I would say words of affirmation.
I was going to 100% say, because I feel like she talks me off the ledge. Like I came over a couple days ago and I had built up this thing to be gigantic. And to me, it was in the back of my mind. I was like, just go to Kelsey. I guarantee you it's not as bad. She's going to make it like normalize it, make it digestible. Yeah. And that's exactly what happened.
Oh, it makes me teary.
Aww. And then how do you receive love?
Oh my God, it's getting to me. I'm getting a little teary-eyed. How do I receive it? I would say quality time and words of affirmation too.
Okay, that's fair.
I feel like when we were working out at Ethos, you said the way to my heart is when somebody compliments my energy level.
Yeah, I love that.
So I feel like you'd like words of affirmation too.
Yeah.
And
And every night to Chris, I'm like, what do you like about me? Why do you like being in this relationship? He's like, do we have to do this every night? I'm like, yes. What did your mind change in 24 hours? I need to know.
That's so funny.
So yes, I would say over quality time, probably words of affirmation, actually.
Okay, but before your first like sort of hard hurdle as a friendship, though, y'all didn't know this about each other.
No, because we were partying all the time.
Because I didn't have love languages then. I didn't develop a love language until maybe 2021 too, when I had a boyfriend and we weren't meeting. We just couldn't figure it out.
Yeah.
And like our love languages were off. And I feel like that's when I dove into like what exactly.
Yeah. And then also like real hard life shit started happening where we weren't getting drunk all the time and like
life was easy.
Yeah. And then we were like having to navigate my health and like her moving to a fucking island and heartbreaks and transitions and friendship breakups and just a lot of life stuff happened. So I don't even know where I was going with that, but
we didn't know what love language. We weren't talking about love languages at dispensary.
We were like, "Where's the next tequila shot?"
Yeah, I mean, we didn't need to know about them, but now I know about them.
Yeah. So then, okay, so get us to like your first like kind of friendship relationship hurdle. How did you talk through these things?
Okay, well, it was in the era of partying.
Ooh, tell me.
And
when was it? What was it?
Yeah, set the stage.
I wonder if mine's the same one.
It was when. We had a really good time during COVID at F Street, which is the house that she rents out. And if you've been there, you know. If you know, you know. Really one of my favorite eras of our life.
Yeah.
Well, I don't regret anything, but like very short-lived for some of us. Erin wanted to continue riding that train for a little longer than I thought was feasible. And so, some of these things were just, she wasn't really showing up as her best self, right? Mm-hmm. Because she was like prioritizing. It was so fine. Like, I don't blame you. But like, I had kind of moved on and she was still in it. And yeah, I think that was like the first hurdle where I was just like, I don't really agree with what you're continuing to party.
Yeah.
Don't really agree. I'm here for you when you're ready, but like otherwise can't really like enable you, and I don't really want to come with you. I don't want to come out. I don't want to go to this folly house. Like I'm over it. And I literally, I think I said the words to you, like, I'm here when you're ready, but like otherwise I'm not like contributing. Yeah. Or something like that.
And I don't even think it was like, for me, it was just like, great, I just find another party girl, which is exactly what I did. I found a lookalike and I just went to party with somebody else for a while.
Yeah.
And I mean, we still lived so close together and we still went to the same gym and life was still really close. But I don't think it was like even one of the harder conversations. I think it was just a little disconnect.
Yeah. So it's funny y'all say that like sort of is the first point of frustration with your relationship, because I feel like the longtime friend that I just had to cut off, that was one of the bigger points of contention in our relationship. Whereas like I am more focused on, my relationship with Jeremy now. And even before that, like work and building a business and just having more freedom with work, like that was such a priority to me, and more so than the like going out in Charleston all the time. But the difference between what y'all just described, where Erin, you just found somebody else to go out with, this friend turned on me and started like attacking me about not wanting to go out anymore. And we've kind of talked about on other episodes as far as like, especially with people's drinking habits, sometimes they don't want you to like hold up a mirror to their habits. And I was kind of feeling like me not wanting to do that anymore, she was taking that as me holding up a mirror to her habits. And instead of like addressing those head on, it just turned into like drunk rage and directed at me. And that's where, to me, it's like, okay, now you don't even respect my decisions. I respect yours. If you want to go party all night, like by all means, I'm just going to go home by midnight probably. And I think that's where the difference for me happens. And I think that's where one of the first, like, I don't know, checkpoints as far as like, is this relationship worth having the hard conversation and working through? Or is it like, this person doesn't even respect me anymore to the point where they're like attacking me over kind of their bad habits. So for me, that's where I think a difference comes into play as far as assessing whether you should continue on with the friendship or not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like you never made me like feel bad. You just were like, we just took some space.
Yeah, and I think the space was months long, because I remember when I decided to leave Charleston, I was living at F Street for like about a week, and my last night of Charleston, I just said, anyone can come over and kind of say goodbye. And I remember I was surprised that you came over, and it was a little awkward. I don't know if you remember coming over, but I just remember that the vibes were just weird. And we didn't even really talk for the first couple months I was even down there.
I don't remember. I don't remember the timeline. It's been so long.
Yeah, I mean, I left in 21, so that was 4 years ago.
Because you're also dating someone who I didn't really like.
That plays a role as well.
Yeah. But and I even said to one of our other girlfriends, I said, I don't like this person for her in the long run, but it's good for her right now. And I'm glad she's getting out of Charleston and like doing something adventurous, because she's always talked about like wanting to do this. So like I supported her in that aspect, and I was like, I will be here for her when it doesn't work out. And I hate to say that, but I did say that out loud. So
yeah.
So after that point in time, then how did y'all come back together?
Oh, yeah. So I was down in the Virgin Islands and we hadn't talked for a while. And I think I was going through this bad time down there. And me, you, and another girlfriend were in a group message. And sometimes for me, it's hard to do phone calls. Like, I really just not a phone call person. I'm uncomfortable. And so we would do group FaceTime. So we started to do like an every other week FaceTime. And I feel like that just kind of got us back in this groove. And then I was teaching yoga in the Virgin Islands, and I was not drinking. I don't know where you are with your drinking journey, but I was like, I need to come back to Charleston. I've been gone for about a year. And you're like, oh my gosh, come, you can stay with me. We'll go to all the gyms. And so then we just planned this trip for me to come sleep on your couch and go to every gym and yoga studio in Charleston. And then that's when I was like, I feel like I should move home.
So that's another thing is we have the same like values in like health and wellness. And like that was like a core value that we could always come back to, that like even now we'll just like meet up and go on a walk or like meet up and go to the gym. And so I think that's also something that
helps. You have common ground.
Yeah.
Because I think that in my friendship was lacking as well. Whereas like, sure, this person liked to go to the gym, but as far as like, I love to cook, I like all the other wellness stuff. And they were more of like, let's eat out every meal. And we lived together at the time too. So it's actually like hard to be around that when you're trying to make good decisions and you have somebody who's eating like an actual trash can of like chips and cookies and candy and eating out all the time.
I would not survive.
It's not easy to stay strong. Well, and I wasn't staying strong. I was giving into it also. So in the back of my mind, I asked you the question of, am I being honest about what I need, or am I watering it down to keep the peace? Like 100% I was trying to make myself smaller to make this person not feel bad about their choices. And I think it's just a big difference in situations and why y'all have been able to work through it. And I didn't feel like it was worth working through.
Yeah, for sure.
So going back to some other questions, and this can be at a different point. So y'all said it's ebbs and flows. So you reunited with your love of fitness. You came back to Charleston. What was the next point of like vibe checking and maybe Kelsey, like what exactly felt like off right then? And like, how did you notice it? And maybe y'all need to discuss timeline if we're not clear on the timeline.
I'm not clear on timeline. I'm so sorry.
We can just, in the past 3 years, I mean, I've been home 2.5 years now. So in that chunk of time.
So one of the other big issues was when she finally moved back. Wait, what's your question?
I just said like, when was a moment where you were like, what exactly feels off right now? And when did you notice it?
So we just like, as far as like big life things, we were not aligned. So I was dealing with my health issues and you knew the severity, but like she was still expecting me to like show up how I used to show up. Right. And I just, at one point, like we had a really hard conversation and I just had to say like, I'm not a good friend right now, not to anybody. Like I have to be so selfish with my time and energy because it's so minimal. I'm so depleted that like the energy I have to give to myself, Chris, and Rexton. And I was like, and that's it. And I think after I said that to you, you understood. I don't think that, like, again, because my health stuff was invisible, right? It's energy. You can't, I'm not physically ill. I'm not like so frail or anything. It's not something you can see. So unless like you're living it, you don't really understand it.
Yeah.
And so for her, I was her rock, right? Like she moved back here and I was like the one piece that you still had in Charleston. You had one of your best friends too, but he's traveling a lot. So he wasn't as foundational as I was. And I think because I'm a homebody, I'm always home. Like I'm not doing anything. It looks like I work from home. Like you're just like, well, why can't you do stuff? Like I don't understand. Yeah. So that was like an alignment check that we had to have. But then I brought you to Ethos. And so that was like huge for her, where she was like starting to like get into her own routine. And it was honestly like, I feel like I like kind of like, your wings grew again. Yeah. You were like reborn and you were like able to get into your routine and be grounded. I was like, that was the most important thing for you. And then even like introducing you to Courtney, like that is such a important relationship to you now, where it honestly took pressure off of me to always be there for her as you're growing your circle and getting in her routine. And the Ethos community is huge for you. And it's, somewhere where she can walk. And so we were slowly like together, like getting her back on her feet where she was like really comfortable and like wasn't so dependent on me. I feel like in the beginning you were dependent on me and I was so happy to be that for you. But then there were times where I was like, I can't anymore. Right? Yeah. Would you agree?
Yeah. And I can't imagine the past year if there's no way you would have been able to support me, because I feel like your health finally took a turning point when we figured out what was wrong, and then where you couldn't work and you had to go to all these medical appointments, to where it was like there was no way that you could have been my support when you're the one that needed more of the receiving.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah. And then it was like flipped, where then like you were like able to be there for me and able to like just be like a sounding board and talk me through things, especially coming from like the traditional healthcare space. Like I was like, oh, they're putting me on this. And she was able to like talk me through the medications. And yeah, so like that was, it kind of like flip flopped. And it was like all divine timing too, where it was like, we got you into ethos. Like Courtney came into your life. It was like all of these things situationally like set us up to kind of be puzzle pieced back together, but like in a good way.
Yeah.
So to answer your question, the misalignments were just various like life situations that we had to like course correct, and they either course corrected on their own, or we had to just have hard conversations to like get back on track.
Yeah. It's so interesting you said the like pressure to like show up that you felt, because I too in my like friendship situation felt this pressure that because we had been friends for now like over 10 years, there was this pressure to keep the friendship going, even though it wasn't in alignment anymore because of the longevity of it. So I don't know. I just think it's interesting because there's so much pressure in other areas of life too, especially just being a female. Like there's all the like timeline pressures and relationship, like love relationship pressures. So it's interesting that there are friendship pressures too that I think people don't talk about, because for me, yeah, people would be like, y'all are like sisters and blah, blah, blah. And so I felt like I had to just keep giving and giving and giving because we're quote unquote sisters. But like at the end of the day, I was just giving to a person that would take and take and take, and we aren't sisters. So it is what it is. That sounds harsh, but are there any other like friendship pressures that y'all can think of that you think other people maybe are experiencing but can't put words to it?
I think a big one is when you make plans and you don't show up. But I feel like that was something I might have taken personally in the beginning, where I was relying upon Kelsey, whereas to now she's vocalized like, I may or may not come. I may or may not do this. And I just have to be okay with that being the case either way. Like I don't take it personally.
Yeah.
Or when I say, Kelsey, in 2 months, can you go on this thing with me? And she's like, I can't commit till the night before. And like, I can't get upset. And that's just how it is.
What do you tell yourself in your mind to not get upset? Because I mean, it's easy to feel, and I think that is part of the issue with a lot of people, is they're so like reactionary and they just take it so personal, even though it's not personal. Like what goes through your mind to kind of like pacify that a little bit so it's not such an extreme reaction?
I think at this point it's the norm for Kelsey, and it's also the norm for one of my other friends that works for herself. And so I think I just have to come from understand that I'm the anomaly with my friend group. And if they can make it, that's great. If not, I get to go home and hang out with my dog, or I just, go by myself to whatever it is. So,
and she'll know I'll show up to like her birthday. Like that's obviously I'll commit to those things.
Yeah.
But it was also learning for me. So, where I will, definitely accept fault, where I would be like, you would ask me to do something that sounds so fun, like a week and a half prior, and I'm like, fuck yeah. And then it comes around, I'm like, I actually don't think I want to do that. And then I was like changing my mind. And I learned that she does better just telling her up front that I can't commit. I'll let you know, because I was like essentially like letting you down by changing my mind.
Well, you're giving like kind of false hope almost.
But I feel like now I like to do that. Now I'm like, I'm sorry, you want me to tell you I'm doing what? Like, I don't know, because now I'm also just like leaning into, my body and how I feel. I'm like, well, I don't know how I'm going to feel either.
We're 4 different people a month as women.
Yeah,
so
literally.
My past week person is not this week.
Right. I don't know.
What was the question? Did we answer that?
Yeah. I was talking about like just underlying pressures that people don't like speak out loud as far as friendship goes. We hear about it in other areas of life, but not as much in friendship. So with all of that in mind, because I think this is like one of the biggest barriers of all relationships is that we just assume. And those assumptions a lot of time lead to more conflict than like needs to be had if the conversation were just coming out. And I highly relate to that with this past friendship because there was so much assuming and not enough said out loud that I think that's added to like the conflict and the spiraling to an end basically. But looking at y'all's relationship, what were you assuming each other should just know instead of actually communicating? And that is the love language part of it. So maybe that's part of the answer. But, you know, what else were you just assuming that could have probably been worked out with more communication?
I would say like it was like the love language thing where like it was like an expectations, unspoken expectations.
Yeah.
Would you agree?
Right. And I think I maybe projected my other friendships and how they were showing up for me. With like my guy friend, we at the start of the week, when are you free? What day? We schedule in 3 p.m. Colonial Lake for an hour walk. Mm-hmm. It's like, okay, Kelsey, why can't you just do that with me? Mm-hmm. Like you can't meet me at Tuesday, you know? And so I think each friendship just looking at it differently.
Yeah. So like, and unspoken expectations that, we weren't communicating initially, but then through lots of like, because of like the frustration that was building up, we had to just be like, let's talk about this. We're not aligned here. What's going on?
Yeah.
And then, you know, it was a really hard conversation. It was hard conversations to have, but you're just like, once you have them, like you said, you walked away from one and you're like, we're not friends anymore.
I think there were 2 times. One, when I told you this, when I was in the Virgin Islands, I was in St. Croix and you were in St. Thomas for a wedding or a party, like a 30-minute plane ride, and you didn't even tell me you were there. I found out on the back end and I was like, am I even friends with Kelsey?
And I didn't even know she felt this way. I was like, I'm just geographically challenged. I don't think I realized
that we were in like so close. And I was like, well, that's a bummer. And then when we were here, and so when I moved back here, I will say that I did pick an apartment that was walking distance to your house. So I did purposefully live as close as I could to Kelsey when I moved home. It lasted all of 3 months. But then when you moved to James Island and I was downtown, that's when the disconnect happened. But I feel like the second time I walked away from the conversation was when we met at Starbucks on Folly. And
Why did you feel that way? Like, what about it?
Because I just didn't know how. Kelsey was like, you need quality time from me. Kelsey said, you want to go do workouts with me. You want to go for walks. You want to have these chunks of time with me. And she was like, I can't give you that.
Because it was my health era.
Okay. Yeah. And I was like, well, then if you can't give me time, like, how else are we going to be friends? Like, what else? To me, it's like, what else is there if there's not quality time? Like, and so Kelsey was like, we just need to take space. And for me, I'm like, well, that's going to be an eternity. And so I was like, okay. And that was in a January time. And then 2 months later, you tried. You were like, I'm working out at Ethos these times. If you want to hang out with me, like really come to Ethos and work out with me at 6:30 a.m. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And I was like, looks like I'm joining Ethos at 6:30 Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And so then that's when I was like, I'll meet you where you're at for a workout. Great.
Mm-hmm. Yes. But like, that's also her love language where like she would do it like when it was convenient for her, like when she worked a 12-hour shift and where the time made sense. Right. So it was like, we made it work. And so it's also just like a lot of like maturing has taken place too. Yeah. And I think, again, we have the same core values, and we just know that we love each other regardless. Like, even if we take space, to me, which is funny that you're like, you know, she was like, I walked away from this thinking we would never be friends. I was like, that thought never crossed my mind. Like, I love you so much. I don't think that would happen.
Yeah.
I like space sometimes, and then I'll just like, I get over it quickly where I'll just come back and be like, okay.
But I think that's just learning the nuances of people. Because I'm the same way. I can get heated. I can talk a lot of shit to your face. And then like tomorrow I could be good. And we could just have a normal conversation again.
I think whenever somebody wants space, my mind automatically goes to like, well, how can I fix this? What's a tangible thing I can do today to fix it?
Yeah.
And I couldn't figure out one solution to the problem. And so that's when I was like, space it is.
But it also makes you self-reflect on your own reactions to things. Like, for like, I wish my friend in my situation had just taken a step back and being like, this isn't personal. Like, Cameron just has a lot going on. She's in a different phase of life. It's not personal. Like, we could have found common ground, but I just didn't feel like, I don't know. I didn't feel like something was missing to make it worthwhile to have those conversations, I would say.
So like neither of you would address anything?
No. And I mean, and this is coming from somebody who I feel like just doesn't want to communicate. You notice it. Like, they can walk in a room and just not acknowledge your presence. And to me, I had to like keep it like in check that it's not personal. Like, that's just how this person is. They will come and go and like pretend I'm not even in the room. And I don't think it came from a spiteful place. It just was. But there's just too many moments of that, of like, if it's not worthwhile for you to say anything or meet me halfway, then it can't be worthwhile for me to like keep doing all the work in it.
Yeah.
So I think maybe at this point, let's like give some like advice to other people who may be working through whether to keep fixing a friendship, whether to think about walking away. So what are some of like the non-negotiables? Like, for me, respect wasn't there. So it's like, how do you keep building a relationship with somebody who like doesn't respect you at all? I know you've talked about like the values part of it. I think integrity, like honesty, like that has to be an important piece. And if somebody can't be honest with themselves, like how are they going to be honest in another relationship? And then just the communication aspect. If somebody's not willing to communicate, like you can't fix anything. Is there any others that you would add?
I would say it's probably like an unpopular opinion, but like in friendships, I think your approach should be like, you set the boundaries for that you need to set for yourself and be selfish. And by you being selfish and vocalizing your needs, wants, and like your boundaries, it's harsh at first, but it's also really, it's a fundamental part to like learn the other person.
Yeah.
And so by you like vocalizing what your needs and wants and boundaries are up front to each other, and obviously like we've had to do it along the way, like we've weaved it through our friendship, but like quite frankly, if you're not aligned, talk about those things initially and like what the other person needs and the boundaries and etc. But put yourself first. Always put yourself first. So like my health era, I had to just be like, it's me season. Like I have to focus on me. I cannot be a friend. You can either like accept that, or if you're not down with that, I totally understand. Like, let's reconnect when I'm in a better space. So I think that unpopular opinion, but put yourself first and vocalize what you need.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that.
Yeah. I think, I mean, I agree. I think the backbone of friendships, I feel like I tell people, I say my love language, if you want to be my friend, is going for walks and grabbing coffee. Like I will do that with you 6 a.m., maybe 6 p.m. But I think in general, I don't have that many best friends in Charleston. I mean, maybe 4. Mm-hmm. But the only way I got to that point was I take an inventory of how do I feel after I leave the interaction with that person. Is my cup full? Am I completely drained? Do I want to like see you again? So I think for me, it's just like, how do I come away from each interaction?
Yeah. And I think also just from hearing y'all's like stories and perspectives, you had the emotional safety to be able to say those things too. Cause I think that's part of it where people play smaller, kind of shrink themselves, is they're afraid to like rock the boat, or they're afraid that this person's going to retaliate in some way. So they don't have that emotional safety to express exactly what they need because they think the other person's going to take it negatively. Whereas I feel like y'all have that. I don't think in my case there was that emotional safety to even have these hard conversations, because I knew it would just be taken wrongly or personally, or like I would be the bad guy for even saying that. And so it doesn't welcome the conversation for me.
I mean, I will say our conversations were hard. Like the Starbucks conversation, tears were shed, and it was hard. That was our hardest conversation.
Yeah, I think that was one of the hardest ones. And then we had a phone call one where I was like telling you I needed you to come take care of my dog when I was at work. But it compiled into a lot of other things besides that. But they were hard. But I will say that you initiated all of them.
Because you do need a confrontational person.
So I will say that.
I don't think it's confrontational. I'm going to start saying brutally honest for you.
Fine,
I think brutally honest is more positive.
I say Kelsey gives the hard truths.
Yeah.
But like in any, I'm like, and I will receive them. Yeah. I feel like even if 6 months from now you had something to come to me with that was hard, that we've had in the past, I would still, maybe it's just innate, I would still be like, it's over. It's over.
I think maybe that's a childhood trauma.
I think
that we need to work through.
Right. Trauma,
Yeah. That's not a mean, hard thing.
No.
But I
Which
think
is a whole another podcast episode.
Yeah, we'll break that down next episode now.
But I will say I had one other thing is what the audience can do in friendships is also take a step back and try to look at the friendship from an outside perspective and recognize where it's evolved, where the individual people have evolved and where the friendship has, if there's been growth, if growth is stunted, because that is something where I feel like the caliber of friends, like even in our friend group during F Street days and COVID days, where a lot of those people that we were hanging out with are still going out at night sometimes. And like, yes, it's not as frequent, but they're still going out where me and her have zero desire.
I don't remember the last time I went to a bar.
To step foot in any venue past 9 p.m. So it's like that alone is just so obvious to us that like, no, we don't want to go to Uptown or Share House on a Sunday. I'd rather, no. Yeah. So just recognizing those things and like old habits and where individually you have grown and where your friends are. And like, take inventory. And you don't have to be expecting extraordinary in everybody, but it's just recognizing the growth that people have had over the years.
But I think it's also just like they don't have to match your same growth. Like, sure, it's ideal. It obviously makes the relationship a lot easier because you have more common ground when you're on the same page of that. But I think this is the next sort of list that we could help people put together. Like, these are the areas that are more up for discussion, a little bit more flexible, where I think there can be understanding and compromise and a little more grace to meet people halfway. Because I don't think, like with this friend, I'm not saying they need to like never go out and drink again to be able to be friends. I just think we have to compromise and understand each other a little bit. So some flexibilities for me in friendships that I think should be taken into account of and discuss are, frequency of hangouts, check-ins. If I can't or don't want to hang out this month, like it doesn't mean we're not friends. It's just like scheduling wise, it's not working out. And I feel like that's something that y'all work through. And just because you couldn't be there in August necessarily, like doesn't mean you can't be friends anymore. I think another important thing is the life stage differences, is like recognizing those. And it doesn't mean you have to be in the same place, but it has to be acknowledged and respected, like whatever lane you go into. I think also just your preferred conflict resolution, because some people need to take space, collect their thoughts before they have the discussion, whereas other people may feel like I need to like fix this or solve this right now. But if you're meeting somebody who needs space, like that's not going to probably get you the end result that you want. And then I think just recognizing some people's degree of emotional sharing. I feel like we've kind of dealt with this past week in a work situation where like you are definitely more emotional, I'm definitely more emotional, but not everybody shows up to hard conversations in the same like emotionally driven way. Some people are more like just logical and like it's very black and white to them. So I think it's acknowledging those differences.
Mm-hmm. No, absolutely.
But yeah, I don't know. I just think there's the hardcore like non-negotiables, and then there's the flexible things that are any others that y'all would add that can be worked through. Like I think there's things that can be worked through even if they aren't exactly in alignment.
I think you're the one that told me that it's okay to have friends that aren't your best friends. Like it's okay to have a friend that you want to do happy hour with. It's okay to have those, like I call them satellite friends. Like I have my core 3 or 4 people. And not so much anymore because I don't really do anything. But back in the day when Kelsey didn't want to like go to happy hour or I don't know, it's okay to have those 2 or 3 people to do activities with.
I call them situational friends.
Yeah, and they're my satellite friends.
I like both. That's good.
Whatever.
Yeah, there's like there's different people for different purposes.
And
I think that's okay.
Best friends.
Well, it's also like, what is a best friend when you're like in your 30s now? How do you define that?
Yeah, should we try to classify that?
I mean, I think, how do you define that? Because best friend when you're in middle school and high school is a lot different than best friend when you're in your 30s. And I think that jump is what is hard for people to accept sometimes. So how do we classify a best friend?
Well, I would say that you should not have many. Because if you do, they're not your best friends, because it is so much time and effort and energy that is poured into a partnership that makes it a best friendship. So,
and I think all relationships are like that. I don't know how people have like multiple, like to have deep relationships. I can't imagine doing that with 10 people.
There's just a lot of situational and social friendships that people think they're so close because they're spending a lot of time together. But like, to your core, are you having the hard conversations? Do you know their core values? Mm-hmm. Do you know like their fears and their like strengths and their, you know, like, do you know anything? Like, what do you know what they do? Like, what are they like what are they good at?
Yeah. What is their last name?
Literally. So I think for me, a best friend is somebody who knows my insecurities and can talk through big situations with me and understand me for who I am. I think my personality is really difficult for a lot of people to understand. I've dealt with it my whole fucking life. My delivery is a little harsh for some people, but like for me, it's not fucking harsh. I just like, this is how I communicate. Mm-hmm. And so for the people who can work with me and understand me, respect me, and trust too. Like I think trust is like a foundational thing. You have to have these foundational things that make you really feel safe. I think coming back to that word safe is good.
Yeah. I mean, a 35-year-old best friend, I mean, I feel like for me it's a safe place for me to talk through the struggles that I'm going through. Mm-hmm. And I don't like to tell people hard things that I'm struggling with, but yeah.
Something Erin's also dealt with too is that she is a boss ass bitch, and she like you heard all of her streams of income. Like she is good on her own, and she set herself up for success in her 20s. And so now she's in her 30s, and like a lot of people in our age range are like having kind of like, I don't know, like not midlife crises, but like trying to find their purpose, right? I mean, we're kind of dealing with that right now, but and trying to chase the success, but she's already achieved the success. And so that's been something that's been difficult for you to understand in your 30s too. It's like you're good. So like now she wants to like go travel and stuff, whereas a lot of people are still building themselves, you know, like I just relaunched my business. And so that's something I've noticed with you too, is that like you did all the hard stuff that a lot of people are doing in their 30s and you already achieved those things that people are chasing.
I just told somebody I'm in a place where I'm just coasting in like a very healthy way, but it also gives me a lot of free time to where I was like, what else should I do? Should I be doing something else? Should I start a business? And it's like, I don't want to do those things, but it's where I do have other friends that live in other parts of the world that I get to travel with. And like, that is where a large part of my income goes. So I do have this quiet life here in Charleston, but I also have afforded myself the luxury to like go out of the country a couple times a year.
Yeah. But that's been difficult as she's coming into her late 30s or mid 30s. Excuse me. Sorry, mid 30s.
Oh my God. No.
How old are you?
I'm like 2 years older than you. 35. We said it like 100 times.
Mid 30s. Sorry.
Late 30s.
You're right at the middle. Next year, it's late.
Middle, still mid.
Anyway, you guys are the same age.
35.
Yeah, I'm
Thank
35.
you.
Sorry, guys. Okay. So she was dealing with the fact that like she wasn't filling her schedule with social friendships. And so she was recognizing all the free time she had, and that was causing her a lot of anxiety. And she just like, so then we started her on paint by numbers.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm an avid paint by numbers gal. I'm an avid walker. I think. What else did we decide I was? I was coloring at one point, coloring books.
But it's just interesting.
Good.
It's just interesting, like the lifestyle choices she made in her 20s has been kind of difficult for you to navigate in your 30s, because a lot of people are now like, oh, fuck, I got to hustle.
Culture.
Right. And then she's like, well, okay, I guess I'll paint. Like, what do I do with my free time?
Like, even at the gym, I was ordering a coffee the other day, and somebody was like, what do you do? Because you're here all the time. Like today I was there from 8:30 to noon, and it's like, well, I woke up at 6 and I wanted to have a coffee and walk and work out and just hang out because I have nothing else to do until 1:30.
Yeah. But like that makes sense. I kind of look at like life as the sort of like buckets that you have to work on with yourself is your career, your job, like how are you going to make money, how are you going to like provide for yourself and afford the lifestyle that you want. Then there's the like love relationship part of it, of course. And then there's the like self-love part of it also, where you're just having to unpack the childhood trauma, unpack the bad habits, like really get to know yourself. And I feel like, at least like ideally, a lot of people find the love part like in their 20s, ideally, not so much I feel like nowadays, but in a perfect world. And they're sort of figuring out the career part, and they may not even be really deep diving themselves yet. I feel like a lot of that like self growth almost comes in your 30s. So I feel like with you, you just like were able to check one of those buckets off like really strongly in your 20s, which again, to Kelsey's point, like many people aren't able to do or don't do for whatever reason. So I think like kudos to you. Like,
oh, thank you. Yeah, it's definitely been a blessing. I feel like it's also like I surround myself with a lot of people who work for themselves. And so I feel like this sometimes I'm lacking, and maybe there's more I could be doing, but in reality,
she's already made it.
But that's what I'm saying. Maybe this is the season where you're deep diving yourself. You've gotten the career bucket done.
100%.
Now it's
she's chiseling her body, which is very...
We're chiseling.
We're traveling. Which is very annoying because she's fucking ripped.
I like, that was the first thing I commented on.
My shoulders are quite large.
Yeah, I'm like, don't look at my arms, please. Oh my goodness.
But always room for improvement.
Yeah.
And, maybe, and working on more friendships. I feel like the more I've figured out how and what I want in a friendship, I'm able to now, this past year, I've been in a healthy place. I've been starting to have other friendships, and it's easier to navigate with those people.
Yeah. So, how do you feel about like Charleston as far as like relationships, whether it be friendship or love? Like, do you find that, like, I'm sure it's hard everywhere, but do you feel like there's harder nuances to Charleston?
I think I'm a sociable person, and I never have had the lack of friendships here. I think my issue was weeding out people who were my satellite friends that were taking up so much time. For me, it was, and being okay with not having those people in my life. I think that was the hardest thing. I think right now in my life, I have been opened up to so many other friendships at Ethos and some of the other things that I do. I don't ever feel like I've had a lack of people to connect with here.
Yeah.
I think if you're referring to dating, I can't really comment on that because I haven't really jumped into the dating pool here. It's just not been a priority in the past.
Okay.
But I've heard it's not good, so I'm not really like
wasn't great for me, but like, everybody's got a different.
I'll circle back to you on that one.
Is there anything on our friendship that we should talk about that has been helpful for us in navigating like or
just any advice? Because again, we live in a world where like we're highly connected from social media and all, but there is a lack of like deep connection. Like I feel like people feel lonelier than ever, even though we're more technically connected than ever. So like any just advice or thoughts, or perspective on like how to get that deeper, more like satisfying, soul-fulfilling connection out of friendships? No pressure.
And this doesn't really answer that question, but I was thinking of something that, sometimes we don't always agree, and that's okay. But like, there's also a healthy way to be like, okay, let's agree to disagree. Like, one time we were walking on the bridge and I was like, okay, this is like kind of frustrating me. It's not worth diving into. Like, let's not talk about it. I just want to enjoy my time with you. It's really not a big deal. Like, I'm going to get over this. I just want to spend time with you. And just being like, literally just vocalizing those things, I think is really helpful. And like, say it with your chest. Like, don't be afraid to fucking say shit.
People aren't mind readers.
No. And then like, would you rather just like have the assumptions? No, that like, it doesn't do anyone like a favor. Right. And so just really start to vocalize how you feel. And the people that love you and respect you will be able to talk through those things with you.
Mm-hmm.
And if they can't, then I think that's a toxic behavior, and snip, snip.
Yeah. I think the only, just like I said, we didn't know our love languages in our 20s. I don't feel like you can really give yourself into a friendship or relationship until you know yourself. And I don't feel like I even really figured out who I was until I was in my early 30s. Until I know what I need out of a friendship or out of a partner, I can't ask you to give that to me. Like, how would you show up for me? I also think, we don't really drink, and there's nothing to like cloud our friendship or our relationship. So I think that also helps getting to know somebody on a deeper level.
A really good point.
That is true.
So, because a lot of superficialness happens at the bars or over happy hour or at Uptown or whatever, whereas like we don't have that. So it's just sometimes I call it I'm just naked.
Raw dogging it.
Like I'm just over here naked, figuring out,
baby.
It's like we're having these, conversations and they're not clouded by anything else. So
that's a really good point, because obviously I'm sober and you did a whole year without drinking, and now you drink like very rarely. But we don't put Erin into a box. No boxes for her.
I'm the same way. Like I'll have a drink once a business
I think
quarter.
I am in the box of no alcohol ever again. Like I'm putting myself in there, and I
love it.
Just because I just really look down on it now. It was fun while I did it, but like,
I mean, I'm not gonna hit on a good Aperol spritz. Don't give me a shot of tequila. I will throw it on the ground or throw it up. But
no. Wait, where was I going with that?
No boxes.
And
we're not having alcohol to cloud our adjustments, and we remember our conversations. So if we're having a deep emotional conversation at the bar, if we've been drinking, you wake up the next day like, oh my gosh, what did I say to Kelsey? Did I really mean that? Whereas like today, I come over at 2:00 on a Wednesday afternoon. It's like we're going to remember this conversation.
Yeah.
You also can pick up on people's nuances when you're not drunk. Because to me, like I would say a best friend, I don't think it's a time exchange. It's like just really knowing people like verbally and their nonverbal cues. And I think, when alcohol is involved, you miss some of the like nonverbal cues of somebody.
Yeah. And to that point, like not only to learn friendships, but like not drinking has really forced me to learn myself and dig deep into things that maybe I was masking with tequila shots.
Yeah. Well, and also as some people feel like they need that liquid courage to even bring up the conversation. And so it does force you to like suck it up. It's going to be uncomfortable, but like that's the moments of growth is through that uncomfortableness.
They're very uncomfortable. That's something that would be like my advice is like to sit in it. That's something I tell you a lot is like to sit in the emotion, to sit in the bad feelings and the suck. And like, you're going to get through it. It's just going to suck. Not even like relevant to us, but like just some advice.
In general.
Yeah. But you feel closer and better on the other side of it. So it is worthwhile to get through.
Yeah. And all growth comes from hard shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And when you're drinking and have the hard conversation, then you probably have to do it a second time because you're like, wait, let's circle back. What did we really mean and what did we not?
Mm-hmm.
Or you just kind of sweep it under the rug. We're like, we're hug.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah. Any other advice? Any other advice for your situation? Like,
I would say not to feel pressured by like longevity doesn't equal quality. Unfortunately, and I think people do get comfortable sometimes the more time that passes. So that like lack of respect and some of those like bad qualities and what you say to each other becomes like worse and worse and worse. But I think also just at the end of the day, like it's recognizing and meeting people where they are. And this person specifically has so much like personal growth that needs to happen. It needs to be dealt with. I think again, to use that mirror example, I think I held up a mirror to a lot of the areas that they weren't addressing in their personal life. And so that just automatically made me the bad guy in the situation just for existing like I'm existing. And I can't shrink myself to fit that, and I can't change what's important to me. So,
and my advice to you with that, just because from an outside perspective, I recognized it almost immediately, and when big life moments happened, I kind of like nudged you to do this on your own. And I think deep down you already knew the answer, but again, it was quite literally the longevity of the relationship that you were like, no, it's fine. Like you justified it.
It's like the nostalgia of it, but it's not like in real time. I recognize this person doesn't support my wins, doesn't like even ask how I'm doing. Like they don't ask any questions. It's literally me just giving and giving and giving. And I was doing that in like romantic relationships too. And I recognized that a lot quicker there. But I think the same negative qualities, childhood trauma patterns we're coming out in friendships too.
That's actually a really good point, is celebrating the wins. Like if your closest people aren't hyping you up for those big moments and like celebrating, and like if they're not matching your energy for those huge things in your life and then also supporting you for the really hard shit, like that is a sign.
Yeah.
That's like, that should be your easy non-negotiable. Like this is when you snip.
Or if you feel like you can't share those wins because it's going to make them feel worse about themselves, like that is a red flag too.
I agree.
And I will say another great thing that you do as a friend that's invaluable to me is there's so many times I just have wanted you to tell me what to do, or you or my sister, and in return you will spin it back on me in a question. So you usually don't ever tell me, Erin, you need to dump this guy. Erin, you need to move back to the States. It'll be like, what is your reasoning behind? Or did you ask yourself these questions? So like you're really good at kind of like nudging me in the right direction with my thoughts. So then I have a reason, like I can justify my actions.
When you can reach your own conclusions, it's not like unsolicited advice that you're not asking for necessarily. You're coming to the conclusion yourself.
Because I would argue, like, deep down, we all know. Deep down, we know. Yeah. It's just if we want to address it. So, like, yours was, like, boyfriend, moving. Yours was the friendship. Like, if I were to have spun those questions on you, you probably would have known. Right?
I already knew. Again, it's just, like, the time, nostalgia, longevity aspect of it where it's, like, because we've made it for so long, we have to just continue to make it. But I knew on a deep down level for sure.
Yeah, but that is a good point where like I always played devil's advocate to a situation. I will literally say, I will not tell you what to do. I don't want that on my conscience either, you know? And it's like also, I don't know any full part of the story unless I'm living it, right? So there are pieces where I'm sure, you know, you're withholding some information from me. So I can't, and I don't have to live with that at the end of the day. Like any decision, I'm not the one living with it, right? And so I would say if a friend is like telling you exactly what to do, that's a red flag too. Like no one knows your life more than you.
Well, especially if you listen to our women's episode, and sometimes women have like their motives aren't great. They want misery loves company sometimes. So gotta be careful.
And even though like, so when you were dating your ex-boyfriend, I wouldn't ever make her feel bad about it. I just wouldn't ever ask about him because I just didn't care. And I didn't really support it, but I supported her and I wanted her to be happy.
That's true. Yeah. I still remember I was like, I texted you and our other girlfriend in a group chat and I said, if I got back together with this person, would you guys support me? And I was hoping for a heck yeah, we'll support whatever you do. And I remember you sent me back this paragraph of all these questions I needed to ask myself for getting back. Like, is it for the security? Do I feel safe and listened to? Do I feel protected? And like, it wasn't a yes or no, but it was like, you need to evaluate. And so that was good. I mean, you still do that to me today. I mean, that was 3 years ago.
Because at the end of the day, and I've had this with one of my best guy friends too, where I didn't like his girlfriend, but I was happy if he was happy. But I don't like this person. But like, if they're happy, then like I will support him. But the second they broke up, I was like, thank fucking God. Oh my God, I've been waiting for this day. I've been waiting for this day. And the same case for you. So yeah, I just think like you should always support your friends. Obviously, if it's like abusive or if there's, I mean, this was like emotional injury, but like if it's really, really, really bad and the person is like has totally lost themselves, then I think you get involved. But most people just need to navigate things their own way. Yeah.
And people have to learn the lesson the hard way, like I am. It's only costing $13,000.
It's fine.
It's fine.
It's a good story.
So worth it.
Good for the plot. But yeah, so I think with that, how can people take some of these questions for themselves and work through those?
So one thing that we recently launched is a how to renegotiate relationships without losing your damn mind template for everybody to purchase. But it takes you through these, self-reflection questions, but it also gives you those script prompts of how to start these hard conversations, because I think for a lot of people, it's just getting over that initial hurdle. Like they need to figure out how they feel and what they want and need, but they have to be able to like start the conversation, and that's hard for people to do. Not everybody is a Kelsey who is confrontational or brutally honest, but these give you softball, just prompts of how to kindly, gracefully enter a harder, more emotionally charged conversation, but still leave room for everybody to feel emotionally safe to express what they want. Or they also give you some like how to end the relationship. And I ended mine in a very dramatic way. I should have definitely used these prompts, but they give you a way to end the relationship on, good terms. It doesn't have to be a burn the bridge moment. It can be as simple as like, we just aren't aligned. We're not on the same page right now. Maybe that's just a long break. Maybe it's forever. It doesn't have to be dramatic and emotional. But again, this template breaks all of that down for you because you got to self-reflect on what you want and need. And then you have to be able to communicate and have the hard conversation.
Mm-hmm. And in that, there are those reflection questions, the boundaries checklist, conversation starter scripts, the sample contract clauses, and the emergency save the relationship templates and exit scripts.
Boom. So.
Very helpful. I think let's end on a good text.
Oh, yeah. I would love
Should
to.
we?
Oh, yeah. Share some
love
text.
to. I am going to read what Kelsey sent me on my birthday this year.
Oh, I thought you were going to read me one you said.
So, unfortunately, I'm not the best texter. The best text I found that I sent you recently was, I love you. Thank you for saying that. I couldn't agree more. So grateful we found this beautiful flow together. Heart.
Okay,
all right, give us Kelsey's.
I'm more emotional.
So Kelsey sent me this on my 35th birthday.
Late 30s.
Whoop, whoop. No. Happy birthday, Air Bear. I am so incredibly grateful to spend yet another year celebrating you. I am so, so glad you were born and our lives intertwined when they did. Your friendship is so special to me. It wasn't always easy and we didn't always understand each other, but I have realized that it was divine timing and it was all necessary to get us to the solid foundation we are at today. A foundation that cannot be broken no matter what storms come through next. We are stronger than we have ever been and can take on anything life throws at us together. I find it even more special that we have known so many versions of ourselves, we've evolved together, and even personally helped each other grow and become better versions of ourselves. We would not be the versions we are today without the other's imprint, and that is true. Love. How lucky are we that we have that in each other? You're an inspiring human being. You are so intelligent and wise and so beautiful. I love you and love that you can read and devour a book. I love that you hyperplan everything because it's so totally opposite of me and makes me giggle because it's so cute to me, even with a tiny bit of anxiety. I love that you're a caregiver and so nurturing. I love that you have become such a good dog mama to Mr. Group Man. I love your ability to take on the world independently, but also utilizing your circle and your community. I love how much you have soul searched and found peace. The journey may have felt hard, but you did that. You got yourself here, and that quality in you is amazing. I love your commitment to your body and movement. I love your love of sunshine. I love so many things about you. You're my own personal beam of sunshine, and I am so grateful to have you as a best friend.
Why am I crying at what I'm saying?
So good that, thank you. I love you. So sweet.
Yeah.
So Kelsey's a much better texter than I am.
Woo! Did I write them?
Yeah, that was like our wedding vows. Like I need to wake up every morning and read that to myself as like a hype me up.
Oh, I love you. Yeah, I think I love our friendship. I think it's something so special and literally we can get through anything. So
I agree. I love you too.
And with that,
do you know how to end it?
Slide on in.
Slide the fuck in.
I loved the confidence though.
Slide the fuck in.
Slide on in.
The fucking.
Slide the fuck in.
Thank you. Okay, bye. If you like these types of conversations and are looking for questions or prompts to ask yourself to dig deeper, we also offer freebies and guides at dmforguestlist.com. Also, if you enjoyed this episode and would like to show a little extra support, please rate and review our podcast to keep growing the guest list. We will see you so soon.